Thank you, Steve.
You bet.
Right. So I want to take you back about 25 years to that track in a little small town in Jerseyville, Illinois, where I grew up at. It was mile day. Everyone had to run the mile. And in my mind, I said, I'm the guy that's going to be the fastest to run the mile in everybody in the entire school. So when the gun went off, I took off like a bat out of Hell. And I took off in a sprint, basically. And I ran because I didn't want anybody to get in front of me. I wanted to be number one. The only thing I really remember about that day was coming around the last turn, not feeling my legs under my body. It was like they were gone. I knew they were there because I could look down and I could see them wheeling and going and going. And I wound up crossing the finish line and I collapsed. And I'm trying to breathe. And I'm moving because I got to move to keep from vomiting. I got to move to keep from vomiting. And I got to move. And coach yells, Slover, 4 minutes, 58 seconds. Steve Ray, under 5 minutes. But the only thing I remember about the dang thing was it was painful. Running is painful. Anybody says that running is not painful is lying. Okay? And I've got clients. Typically what happens is when we start a long-term relationship branding campaign, bonding campaign, the first 4 to 6 months, that's where you feel the pain. And it's not physical. It's financial. Because you see more going out than what's coming back in. But the finish line is usually somewhere on the other side of 4 to 6 months. We call it the chickening out period. And I sometimes rack my brain when my clients start a campaign and then they want to start trying to do a relational campaign and they want to start trying to do more direct response or featured items, because we just got to hold on. The prize is on the other side. So I started thinking, how can I come up with a tangible template to show my clients to say, yes, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to stay the course. Because it's painful. I mean, look at me now. This is me now. Does that guy look like he's having fun? Or does he look like he's in some pain? Looks like he's in some serious pain. And my daughter and I, she's 15, we're taking a photography class, and we learned how to do the motion thing. Like you pan and you click it. You would know that, right? And I got her to take a picture of me so that it looks like I'm going fast, because I can't get anywhere near a 5-minute mile nowadays, you know? So I'm thinking about this. How can I create this tangible template? And lo and behold, this crazy election had just went by, and I was watching the news, and a politician came on the news, and he said all of the campaign promises that Donald Trump made, he said in his whole entire presidency, he can only focus on 3 to 5 things. Actually, he said 3 to 4 things. And I started thinking, 3 to 4, where have I heard this number before? And then the cue went off in my head. David Freeman has a technique called the character diamond, which we use to build characters in relational advertising campaigns. And basically what the character diamond is, David's a screenwriter and screenwriting instructor in Hollywood, very fascinating guy. You take a baseball diamond and you make a shape like a baseball diamond. You put 4 different personality traits of the character, and that guides how you write for the character. And it makes it, if you do it right, an interesting, attractable character. So I said, okay, I need to use this character diamond technique somehow, but that's talking character. This politician was talking strategy, selling strategy, okay? So I created what is known today as the strategy diamond. It has 4 sides, takes a lot of influence from David Freeman's character diamond. And the first quadrant of the character diamond, the North Star, the one that you have to plant your flag in and worry about the most, is some type of core identity, okay? What is your core identity? What is that? What's the one big idea that your company is going to get known for? What can you say in 12 words or less that you do for your customers that position your business in the marketplace? What is that thing? And the more specific you can get, the better off you're going to be. I'm talking about true positioning. You all heard from the very, very lovely, talented, beautiful Jane Frazier about Mill and Court gas station, right, yesterday. Isn't she amazing? Yes. Isn't Jane amazing? She is awesome. Yes. And when I created this strategy diamond, I reached out to a bunch of my partners. I said, hey, can you guys give me some feedback on this strategy diamond? And it started off over here, and by the time it got to Jane Frazier, she was the last one. It like wound up over here, and she had a lot of influence on what I'm going to present to you. But we started talking about Mill and Court gas station, a commodity that does $1 million a month in a town of 4,000 people. Isn't that amazing? 4,000 people. After I got off the phone, I started looking at property to see if any gas stations were for sale, because I'm in the wrong business. But I started getting the story of Mill and Court Petrocana, and I found out that it started off as a garage, you know, where they fix your car. They service your car back in the 1920s or something. And then it progressed into an automobile dealership. The grandfather actually had to have his son go out and teach people how to drive the car. And then it progressed from there into a gas station. So they had a lot of roots of servicing cars. And what I found out was, on my call with Jane, asking a lot of questions and getting a lot of very insightful answers, that Mill and Court's big idea is actually they're a 50s style car care gas station. So they service your whole car, fill up your fluids, and they've had that mentality since the 1920s. So that's their big idea. Okay? You have to start with the big idea. You have to know exactly who you are, what you're trying to make happen for your clients, and in less than 12 words. The one big idea. And then, what's the obvious one? In the character diamond, one of the sides are obvious. Where do you take influence for the obvious one? Well, differentiation. Now that you got your big idea, now how are you going to differentiate your products or your service based off of your big idea? Okay? Mill and Court Petrocana, one of the ways that they differentiate their product or service is by giving free air in their tagline, just like it should be. Okay? So how can you differentiate your products or service? Yes, your one big idea should be some type of differentiator, how you position yourself in your market against your competitors, but it's not how you differentiate your product or service. And you can differentiate more than one product or service. That's how you stand out. That's how you be unique. So that's the east quadrant of the strategy diamond. The south quadrant is to have an interesting character diamond, you also have to have some type of vulnerability. It's key to being interesting. So the south quadrant on a strategy diamond is, what can you offer your customers that people would think you are nuts for offering? I call it the courageous offer. What does that look like? Y'all know a company named Zappos? Anybody know those guys? Right? $1 billion company in less than 10 years. They started off as shoesite.com, selling, again, a commodity over the internet in 1998. So how did they do it? There's a lot of things that they do, but one of the main factors that I believe put them on the map was they had a courageous offer. They gave a 365-day money-back guarantee. If you didn't like your shoes, they were the wrong size, the wrong color, they didn't fit right, you had 365 days to send the shoes back. They'd pay for the shoes, the price of the shoes, the shipping that got there, and they'd pay the shipping that got back. So they took away the limiting factors. They took away a bunch of the risk. And the courageous offer is courageous on the business owner's part. You've got to say, what can I do that makes me kind of twitch a little bit, makes me a little bit uneasy? What does that thing look like? And you will have what's called the knucklehead factor. There will be people that wear their shoes for 364 days, they'll send them back, and you'll remember them, and you can't get them out of your head, but because the offer was so strong, in my opinion, that's how they became a $1 billion company in less than 10 years. So that's the south quadrant. And this could be in your advertising campaign, or it doesn't have to be. The main factor in your advertising campaign is the one big idea and the differentiator. Those two should go back and forth and should always be a part of your campaign. Okay? And then the west quadrant is surprise. Without surprise, there is not delight. So what is the unexpected delight factor that you can offer for your customers. We'll go back to Zappos again. Back in the early days when you would order from Zappos, they would automatically upgrade your shipping to overnight and not charge you for it. So the next day you have just got online, you have made an order with Zappos, you don't really know much about them, you wake up the next morning, you look out on your porch, and there's your shoes from Zappos. How can you not feel great about this company? That's going to build loyalty, right? Right? 3 or 4 very easy things to do. And these are the 4 things that I think that your business, if you do them well, can get remembered for. Because you've only got, really in an advertising campaign, you've only got a couple things that are going to stick in people's minds anyway. Okay? And this is always, always, always hidden. The unexpected delight factor, always hidden from the advertising campaign. You never promise it. It's that special little something that you give them. It's the baker's dozen. It's the 13th donut in a box of 12 that they didn't expect, but my golly, you gave it to them and they feel good about it. So that's it. That is the one big idea, differentiator, courageous offer, unexpected delight factor. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make a strategy diamond. Thank you for listening.